Well, hey, welcome back, and today I'm going to teach you all about clean boost, and I'm going to use the Zio from Source Audio. It's a really cool new box. It's their first all analog pedal, and I'm going to show you how you can use it before pedals, after pedals, and even in front of a low wattage amp to get the most out of your rig. So Source Audio reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in demoing this pedal, and I said absolutely, because I love clean boosts and I love pedals that can really shape your tone and help you get the most out of your rig. This is more than just a one knob clean boost like you've probably seen. It's got its output control, which gives you 20 dB of really clean output, but there's 4 distinct preamp circuits in here that will really help you shape your tone. There's even a switch on there that can really help you color it as well. It's a great box, small footprint, but has a lot of power. We're going to see how it works. So big thanks to Source Audio for sending me this pedal before it hit the stores. I've been using it for a week or so and having a lot of fun, really hitting my amps differently and trying it with different pedals. I think you're going to dig it. Let's check it out. Now, oftentimes clean boost pedals or analog buffers or front end boost pedals of this variety generally only have one knob and not much else going on. So Zio has a good bit more under the hood than your average one knob buffer or clean boost type of pedal. So let's take a look at some of the features. We have our output control, which is really our volume or our level, and it sends that signal, I think it's up to 20 dB of a boost to the front end of your amp. And we're going to use it with these pedals here too in a minute, just to kind of show you the versatility you can get out of a clean boost and why Zio does a lot of things well. Over here on the circuit knob, now they call it circuit because these are actual circuits that have been modeled, and this is an entirely analog pedal, so when I say modeled, don't think digital. And we have 4 of the most common. We have JFET, we have low cut, studio, and E-plex. Now JFET is, just think of that as like your standard clean boost. That's going to be sort of your least adulterated circuit. And when we play just a clean sort of strat sound, and I have the amp pretty flat, I'm going to throw that on, and I took the output control. It's about 11 o'clock because I don't want it to go crazy and hit the front of the amp. I just want you to hear the subtleties of the circuit. So here we go. Now we did hear a little volume boost, but check this out. What these types of pedals do for you is it brings a lot more of your frequencies from the guitar to the forefront, ones that you may not have realized you were even missing. So if I keep it in there, take it off. So it's more robust. That's a great word. I love it, and it's, you know, we could back it down and try to get it even closer. The guitar just feels like it becomes thinner with the pedal off. And that's a feel thing too, and that's really important. So let's go back to a little bit more of a boost, and we'll keep playing around. Now that low cut, for a guitar like this, it might not benefit as much because Strats, single coil guitars, we want a little lower frequencies be pronounced. It took a little bit of low end away, but it's really not that bad. It's actually really kind of nice. Because what they did with this mode is really try to take away the unimportant low end frequencies to get more clarity in your guitar tone. These are subtle differences, but they make all the difference when you're building a pedal board. Yeah, there we go. Listen to that high string. Everything's just so more present in the sense of in your face a little bit more. The other mode is the studio mode, and what's cool about that is it's modeled after some really sought after studio EQs, and what they did was these studio EQs did a really cool thing. When you turned them up, they created this really sort of lovely frequency bell that it's just more pleasing. It takes some of the mids out. It's really like a mix sweetener. You can hear them all changing. So we go from J FET, low cut, yep. There's the studio one, that feels like it brought everything back. Really, really nice sweetener for your tone. Now the E-Plex is based on the classic sort of Echoplex preamp that was in those old tape machines. And that's something that guitar players have been really digging for years and years. They would turn the delay off and just use the preamp. It's gonna be subtle in this instance, but it warms you up overall. Let's turn the output up a little bit more and try that same run. Now it's got a little bit of warmth from the bottom end. And it's hitting the amp ever so slightly. Nice tone. Simple, simple stuff that really makes a difference in your tone. But they have this tone switch here, which I really dig. Now this is bright, medium, and dark. So what's gonna happen is, if you got a really long guitar cable, you're gonna start to lose high end over time, over distance, I should say. Now the same would go if you have miles of cable in your pedal board. So what you can do is you can bring brightness back, you can bring some darker tones into the mix. Some people like it darker, some people like it brighter. So we'll stay on that E-Plex, and we'll brighten it up. We'll take it in the medium, and dark. Listen to the high strings. So it got some more chime out, and that's what's gonna happen when you have sort of a really nice buffered pedal board. This is gonna take care of that, whether it's in the front end of your pedal board or the back end after a long cable run. All right, so that's basically the features. Oh, I forgot about the switch. This is kind of unique for this too. You know, just turning it on and off in this mode turns the effect on or off, or the boost on or off. But what you can do is assign one of its outputs to go to maybe a tuner. So you could do a tuner mute. I'm tuning. Yeah, I tune to a chord. No, I don't. So imagine you're tuning, you got your sound off, turn Zio back on, and you're ready to go. So it can be an entire mute for your signal chain as well, depending on how you set it up. So pretty versatile little box. Again, all analog, and that's their first offering that Source Audio has done. It's not a digital pedal at all. It really sounds great. And remember, guitar, amp, pedal, that's it. Speaking of pedals, let's try some of my favorite overdrives along with Zio, and you can see how versatile a boost pedal of this style, whether it's a front end boost, clean boost, whatever you prefer to call it, will really do for your favorite overdrives. All right, let's check them out. All right, so let's take a look at how I was getting the tone in the beginning of the video, where I was just using my Les Paul, going into Zio, Zio into the front of my 67 Princeton, and then out of the speaker output to my Universal Audio aux box for speaker emulation and for some reverb as well. So really kind of edge of breakup tone, if you will. It's my favorite thing about old Fender amps. Now, when you push them, they can do some really cool stuff. But when you push an old Fender amp or a Fender amp of most styles, the low end can get a little mushy, a little muddy, a little untamed. And we're gonna hear that a little bit. We're gonna go to about 5, because that's where my rhythm sound was. So it's a woolly there on the low end, and it's not nearly enough gain for me to solo the way I wanted to over the track. So after I play the rhythm part, I want to kick in Zio for the lead, and I have the output pretty cranked, and I'm using, again, that low cut, because I want the rumble and the woofiness. We have a kind of a beefy guitar going into a Fender that's going to have some beefy lows, even with the bass turned almost all the way down. So when we do that, it's going to get gnarlier. And it should sound kind of, I want to give you that sort of Billy Gibbons thing. Remember, regardless of the amp guys like that were playing way back when, it was amp distortion you were hearing. This is not an overdrive pedal. All the overdrive is coming from the amp. So what's great too about that low cut setting, it's keeping my note nice and round. If I went up and tried the J fret, so that low end will come back. A little furrier. If we went down to, might get even more woolly. Because remember we said the mids were gonna kind of get scooped a little bit with this sort of studio effect. And then if we do the E-plex, I should warm it up quite a bit. But for this tone, I love the studio, or the low cut, that's the one. It's just real focused, and when you're playing with another guitar and you want to take a lead break, doing something like that's going to be really cool, because not only is it going to drive your amp, it's actually going to help you get more focused and even stick out amongst the other guitar and the rest of the instruments. So if we went back and turned the pedal off, we'll have my rhythm sound. Kick it on for the lead. Good stuff. It's a way to really get the most out of a lower wattage amp, like an old Princeton, or maybe you have a Blues Junior or a 5-watt amp or an old Tweed amp. This would sound really good with as well. So lots of versatility. Oh, by the way, I'm also using, I have it, our tone control here, I had it in the middle because I just didn't want it to get too bright or dark either way. So I thought that was the best way to run it. And I thought it sounded pretty killer. Hope you did too. Go grab your guitar and a low wattage amp and see what you can come up with. All right, so now we're gonna see how Zio compare with some overdrive pedals. And first up is one of my favorites ever, the Greer Lightspeed. It's a great low to mid gain overdrive pedal. And what we're going to do is kind of build sort of a stairway to tone, right? We're gonna build some options. We're gonna have a clean sound, light overdrive, and then Zio in front of the Lightspeed is actually gonna push that pedal and really give us a nice lead tone as well. And we can sort of tailor that with the options that are already on board. So if we just have a basic clean sound, we'll kick the Greer in for a nice mild overdrive. See if I can do that without screwing up. Great pedal. And let's say maybe we want to go and do a funky strat thing. And we want to play a solo, and we really want that tone, but we want more of it. We want more gains and sustain. So before I click it on, let's play that rhythm again. Kick in Zio. So we're still getting the Greer sound, just juiced up a lot more. How am I doing that? Well, I'm taking the output control and I'm really turning it up quite a lot. And that's really hitting the input of the pedal and driving it into distortion and more saturation. That was just the J-FET sound. If we take that same idea, we'll run it through the cycle. I think that's my favorite one, that low cut. I didn't expect it to be my favorite, but it's really great with higher gain frequencies, or higher gain overdrive. Go down to the studio. And the E-plex, you hear that low end come back. A little more snap on the high end. A little more low end gone, and then sort of a straight boost. But this is useful if maybe you're playing a light rhythm part. Need to go to a heavy gain. So often tone is about frequency and what you add or take away, and that's what Zio is helping us do here. So let's bring in another pedal, and we'll change the order. We're gonna put Zio after the overdrive and see what it does for us. All right, let's go do it. All right, so let's try placing Zio after an overdrive pedal, and I've brought in the Nobels ODR-Mini. The Nobels ODR circuit is synonymous with Nashville. You've heard it on tons of records, whether you knew it or not. And it's really an amp-like pedal. It sounds great when you're playing just a basic sort of rock country kind of thing. So we'll take my unaffected tone first. Gibson SG, single P90. We'll throw the Nobels on. If I'm playing a tune, really sounds great. You should hear it in a mix. These pedals sound really great. Along with the Lightspeed, you don't need anything else in for a lot of songs. But when you play these pedals, they can be a little woofy on the low end. So let's take care of that. Let's tame it with Zio. We got the low cut on. Put that on. So now it's a little more defined. Now don't be confused, when you're playing by yourself, having lots of low end is really fun, but when you're recording or playing with other folks, it can kind of compete with other lower frequency instruments. So that's what's nice about throwing Zio on. You can physically feel it just kind of takes that low end and scoops it back a little bit. But let's say we want to crank the output a little bit more. So now we have a bona fide boost when we want to take a solo. So if we're here, lots of fun stuff. Now you can cycle through all of the other options there too on the circuit choices and kind of, experiment and see what works best for you. But I thought that was a really good one because not only are you getting frequency shifting or shaping, but you're also getting output and volume. It's hitting the amp. And there's just, a lot of different things you can do with a pedal like this before and after overdrives. Try it after fuzzes. Try it in front of other amps, not just low wattage, but high wattage too. If you got a big clean amp like one of my 2 Rocks back there, it'll just continue to up the ante and up your choices as well. So a couple different fun options you can do, and I encourage you to experiment once you get the Zio. All right, so I hope you get a better understanding about how a pedal like Zio can really help you shape your tone and alter your rig for the better. Special thanks to Source Audio for sending me this early and asking me to do the demo. I was totally flattered. They make great stuff and they're super nice people. All right, I'm Corey. I'll see you on the next video.